200 years ago, life on an Irish farm was governed by the rhythm of the seasons. Farmers rose before dawn, their day beginning with tending livestock, milking cows, and feeding chickens. Children helped with chores, learning the skills they would carry into adulthood. Houses were small, often built of stone with thatched roofs, and rooms were shared by families and animals alike. Every action, from lighting the hearth to fetching water, required effort and planning. Survival was not guaranteed, and every day brought the possibility of hardship, yet communities supported one another through shared labor and knowledge. Daily life extended beyond mere survival. Traditions and rituals infused work with meaning. Seasonal festivals marked planting and harvest, and storytelling preserved cultural knowledge and family history. Skills were passed down orally, from generation to generation, ensuring that survival techniques were never lost. The land was both a challenge and a provider, demanding respect and careful stewardship. Despite the physical strain, there was a rhythm and sense of accomplishment in each day. The endurance and ingenuity of these farmers laid the foundation for modern Irish agriculture, leaving behind a legacy of resilience, community, and deep connection to the land. Livestock played an equally vital role on the farm. Cows supplied milk, butter, and occasionally meat, while sheep provided wool for clothing and blankets. Chickens offered eggs and supplementary protein, and pigs were raised for lard and meat, often fattened on kitchen scraps and garden waste. Animals required daily care, feeding, milking, and cleaning enclosures, which demanded time and skill. Farmers relied on knowledge passed down through generations to maintain herd health and productivity. Each animal represented both sustenance and economic value, sometimes being sold or traded at local markets to buy seeds, tools, or other necessities. The balance between crops and livestock defined farm life. Farmers carefully planned planting and grazing schedules, ensuring that neither the soil nor the animals suffered. Seasonal cycles dictated activity: spring for sowing, summer for tending, autumn for harvesting, and winter for maintenance and preparation. Animals often stayed close to the household during harsh weather, highlighting the intertwined nature of family and farm. Through these practices, farmers maximized limited resources, creating a sustainable system that endured despite adversity. Their deep understanding of land, weather, and animal behavior allowed generations to survive and thrive, leaving a lasting imprint on Ireland's agricultural heritage. The tools of the trade were simple but effective. Wooden plows, scythes, and spades shaped the land, while handmade baskets and carts transported crops to market. Fields were divided by stone walls and hedgerows, reflecting generations of labor. Farmers carefully rotated crops, understanding soil fertility and the delicate balance needed to feed their families. Harvesting was a communal affair, often drawing neighbors together to reap the rewards of months of toil. Even in the harshest winters, resourcefulness kept families fed. Fires in the hearth provided warmth and cooking, and preserved foods like salted meats, root vegetables, and stored grains sustained households through lean months. The Irish potato famine of the mid-19th century devastated farming communities across Ireland. Farmers who had relied on potatoes as their main source of nutrition faced catastrophic crop failures due to blight, a disease that rotted tubers in the ground. Entire families went hungry as the staple crop vanished, and supplemental grains or vegetables were often insufficient to sustain them. Rural communities, already living close to the edge, were pushed into desperate survival. Many smallholders struggled to keep livestock alive while trying to find food for themselves. The famine transformed the landscape, leaving behind abandoned fields and empty homes. Irish farmers relied on a mix of crops and animals to sustain their families. Potatoes were the staple, grown in small plots called potato ridges, providing the majority of daily nutrition. Barley and oats were planted for both food and brewing, while vegetables like cabbages, carrots, and turnips supplemented the diet. Each crop required careful attention to soil, weather, and pests. Crop rotation was common, ensuring fields remained fertile for the next season. The success of these crops determined survival, as poor yields could mean hunger. Every seed planted was a gamble against the unpredictable Irish climate. The impact of the famine endured for generations. It not only caused immediate loss of life, but also altered Irish agriculture and demographics permanently. Many small farms disappeared, replaced by larger holdings or pasture land, and mass immigration led to the spread of Irish culture abroad. Survivors carried stories of endurance and adaptation, influencing future generations of farmers. The famine remains a stark reminder of the fragility of rural life and the dependence on a single crop. It also highlighted the ingenuity and courage of Irish farmers who, despite unimaginable hardship, found ways to sustain life and preserve community. Starvation, disease, and emigration defined daily life during the famine. Families were torn apart as parents sent children to workhouses or abroad in hopes of survival. Those who remained faced the harsh reality of watching neighbors succumb to hunger. Farmers who once had thriving plots were forced to sell their land or possessions to survive. Traditional farming practices, once passed down through generations, could no longer protect families from widespread devastation. The famine also reshaped social structures. Community bonds were tested as the struggle for survival intensified, yet small acts of kindness persisted, reflecting resilience amid catastrophe. In the face of hardship, Irish farmers often turned to resourcefulness to survive. Nothing was wasted. Scraps became feed for pigs, wool was spun into clothing, and tools were repaired repeatedly rather than replaced. Farmers relied on traditional knowledge, adapting methods handed down through generations to fit changing conditions. They developed clever ways to work poor soils, using seaweed or manure as fertilizer. Even during scarcity, innovation shaped their routines. Simple tools like spades and flails became extensions of their bodies, enabling them to maximize every ounce of energy and every acre of land. Necessity became the mother of invention. The resilience of Irish farmers lay in their ability to blend tradition with creativity. They observed patterns in the land, weather, and animals, adjusting their work accordingly. A failed harvest one year taught lessons for the next. Their survival was not built on luxury, but on endurance, thrift, and ingenuity. From preserving food in pits dug into the earth to crafting sturdy stone shelters for livestock, each solution reflected generations of trial and error. This adaptability allowed farming families not only to endure the immediate challenges of their time, but also to leave behind a lasting legacy of resilience. Farmers also made ingenious use of their natural surroundings. Rivers and streams were harnessed for water mills, powering the grinding of grains into flour. Peat bogs provided fuel for cooking and heating, allowing families to stretch scarce resources. Communities often pooled labor and knowledge, forming cooperative systems to share tools, animals, and even harvests. Such collaboration lessened the weight of individual struggles, ensuring no family faced hardship alone. These practices not only preserved survival, but strengthened social ties. Innovation was not always about invention, but about adaptation, finding small, practical solutions that made a difficult life just a little more manageable. Emigration carried Irish farming knowledge abroad, influencing agriculture in distant lands. Families who left Ireland preserved their traditions while adapting to new environments, spreading the ingenuity and resilience cultivated in their homeland. Back in Ireland, descendants of early farmers maintained cultural practices, storytelling, and folk wisdom that connected them to ancestors who endured hardship. The legacy of survival and innovation is evident not only in physical landscapes, but also in the collective memory of communities. These stories remind us that the struggles of the past shaped identity, strengthened community bonds, and laid the foundation for Ireland's agricultural heritage. The resilience and ingenuity of Irish farmers left an enduring mark on the country's landscape and culture. Stone walls, thatched cottages, and terraced fields still dot the countryside, silent testaments to centuries of labor. Farming practices, passed down through generations, shaped local traditions, festivals, and folklore. Even as modern machinery transformed agriculture, the lessons of the past, adaptability, resourcefulness, and respect for the land, remained embedded in rural communities. The lives of these farmers continue to inspire appreciation for hard work, patience, and the delicate balance between humans and nature, forming a bridge between history and contemporary Ireland. Today, understanding the lives of these early farmers offers more than historical insight. It teaches lessons in perseverance and creativity in the face of adversity. By revisiting the past, we honor their sacrifices and ingenuity while recognizing the deep relationship between people and the land. Modern agriculture may rely on technology, yet the principles of sustainability, careful stewardship, and adaptability echo the practices of 19th century farmers. Their legacy serves as a reminder that survival is not just about food and shelter, but about community, knowledge, and the enduring human spirit that shaped Ireland for generations to come.